Welcome to Anson Industries. I'm Larry Domino, president of the company. You probably know us as Anning Johnson Company or Restech Contractors. We've been in business since 1940 and we have operations in several major cities across the United States. We're a subcontractor and we perform drywall and framing in all of our locations. We also perform metal deck, fireproofing, roofing, plaster, mechanical insulation, and asbestos abatement in selected cities. We are a leader in every business we operate in, and our field crews have always played a big part in our company earning and keeping that reputation. Our field operations are dedicated to three key ideas: safety, quality, and performance. Each of our employees plays a role in ensuring that our performance in all three areas is consistent on every job, every day. In this orientation, we'll outline our expectations of you as an employee on our job sites, and we'll also explore the expectations that you should have from the company and from your supervisor. Safety. Our driving goal is that every employee goes home safe every day. It's important for you to know as you begin your work here that we're not just like every other contractor that you might have worked for in the past when it comes to safety. Some other companies believe that accidents are part of the construction business. We do not believe accidents are to be expected. Our goal is that every one of our employees goes home safe every day. You will learn today about our Go Home Safe program, also known as the Pre-Task Checkoff. We are looking for people who share our commitment to operate safely, and if you're watching this video, you have demonstrated this attitude in your interview. Most injuries occur because of either a lack of attention to the task at hand or the improper use of tools or methods to accomplish that task. These conditions are entirely within our control, and when I say our, I mean both the company and the individual. We will provide you with the tools and training to operate efficiently and safely. We'll also work hard to set you up in an area that's been reviewed for potential hazards. What we expect from you is that you'll recognize the potential hazards and how to identify them. If you see a potential hazard, we want you to communicate that to your supervisor and get the hazard corrected before you go to work. Safety is a true team effort at Anson Industries. Conditions can change quickly on a job site, so your attention to your workspace is needed all day, every day. We do not expect you to take unnecessary chances to get your work done. When we see an employee violating either our policies or those of OSHA, we'll address that immediately with the employee. Sometimes there will be a discussion of the issue and what needs to be corrected. You might receive a citation, and more serious violations can lead to termination. Quality. We build all our projects right the first time. In addition to safety, we take great pride in being a very professional organization in every way. We are proud of the way that we're seen by our customers and by others on our job sites, and we believe the way we're seen on our job sites makes a big impact when our customers are making decisions as to who will get the next job. Doing our jobs right the first time, it demonstrates that you care about the work you produce, and it's one of the things that our customers make note of. Performance. We complete our projects on time and on budget. Finishing the job on time with minimum disruptions also shows our customers that we know how to plan and execute our work. Your ability to complete your work in a safe and productive manner helps us maintain our reputation in the industry. We have a written code of conduct that you will receive today. That code covers our expectations for you, with guidelines on your appearance and how you interact with our customers' personnel, your fellow workers, and the other workers on site. You will also receive an employee handbook which contains many important company policies, including how to report any employment-related issues. Please listen carefully to the remainder of this program. The information in it will help you get an efficient and safe start. But always remember, every job is different and the conditions can change rapidly, so awareness of the immediate area around you and your constant learning about the tools and methods needed in your line of work is critical to your safety. Anytime that you're uncertain of any part of your work, we expect you to ask your supervisor for clarification before you engage in the task. We look forward to a safe and productive relationship. Once again, welcome to Anson Industries.
At the start of your day, the foreman will start the day with the morning huddle. The huddle will focus on the safety and the performance goals of the day. The huddle will include a short warm-up to increase the blood flow to prepare your muscles for work and reduce the risk of injury. The Go Home Safe program was developed to get everybody focused on safety. The Pre-Task Checkoff is a list of questions you review before you perform each task. If you discover a problem with the task, work areas, tools, or equipment, you should talk to your foreman. The Pre-Task Checkoff will create a habit that we hope will identify hazards, prevent an incident, and keep everyone going home safe every day. Your foreman will provide guidance on how to complete the form. If you are injured, report it to your foreman immediately, even if you are not sure if medical treatment is necessary. You will be required to complete an accident report. This will help us identify the cause and how we can avoid future injuries. If your injury does not allow you to return to regular duty, we will try to bring you back to work through restricted duty. Our goal is to make sure all of our workers receive the treatment they need and return them back to work. Anson's core values represent who we are and provide the standard of behavior by which we conduct business. The following items are the example of professionalism we expect from all employees. It is our level of professionalism that sets us apart from the rest of the industry. A professional is someone who lives up to the full potential of his or her capability and job title, no matter their level of education or the industry in which they work. A professional conforms to the standards of skill, competence, or character normally expected of a properly qualified and experienced person in a work environment. Code of conduct. When working with customers, treat our customers with respect at all times. Remain positive under all circumstances. Be candid and honest in communication and conduct. Follow through on all commitments. Be prompt and responsive in business dealings. When working with your coworkers, ensure that safety is a top priority and the focus of the entire team. Ensure that the team treats one another with dignity and respect, regardless of position, time with the company, or level of experience. Ensure that the team maintains a positive attitude, appearance, and demeanor. With everyone, refrain from vulgar language or behavior. Respect the dignity, rights, safety, and personal property of others. No radios, headphones, earbuds, or any other music device. Personal phone calls during breaks and lunch only. Turn phones off during work hours. Dress code. Company hard hats with the company logo are required for all employees. Only company-provided stickers and union logos may be applied to our hard hats, including safety certifications, first aid, and job site required. Shirts. Either long sleeve, short sleeve shirts and t-shirts are allowed. Blank shirts only. No logos except approved company and union logos are permitted. Must be in good condition, free of holes, tears, etc. Pants. Full length and size appropriate. No shorts. Pants should be free of holes, tears, rips, etc. No baggy pants or pants that hang down below the waistline. No loose jewelry. Work boots must be in good condition and free of defects. Anson Industries provides equal employment opportunities to all employees and applicants for employment without regard to race, color, religion, sex, gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, national origin, age, veteran status, disability, genetic information, and any other classification protected by applicable law. In addition to federal law requirements, Anson Industries complies with applicable state and local laws governing non-discrimination in employment. This policy applies to all terms and conditions of employment, including recruiting, hiring, placement, promotion, termination, layoff, recall, transfer, leaves of absence, compensation, and training. Anson Industries expressly prohibits any form of workplace harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, or bullying based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, national origin, age, genetic information, disability, veteran status, and any other classifications protected by applicable law. Any questions or concerns should be communicated to your immediate supervisor or Human Resources Department immediately. Contacts can be found in the Employee Handbook. We have created this video so you can become familiar with our safety policies and become familiar with the hazards on our job sites. We want you to be able to recognize and avoid unsafe conditions. We encourage you to notify your foreman of any unsafe conditions you may encounter, even if it does not pertain to our work, since it may help prevent an injury. Personal protective equipment. It is our duty as your employer to provide you with the necessary equipment to work safely. We will provide all appropriate equipment except proper clothing or boots. The following are the types of equipment you will be required to use on our job sites. Hard hats provide protection from falling objects or protect you in case of a fall. Hard hats must be worn at all times. Safety glasses are required when cutting, welding, grinding, clipping, or using power tools. They can prevent flash burn or objects from getting into your eyes. Safety glasses must be worn at all times. If you wear prescription glasses, they must be ANSI Z87 certified with side shields. When using a chop saw, a face shield is also required. Cleaning wipes will be provided on the job site so that they can be kept clean. Hearing protection is required at all times. The OSHA standard requires protection when employees are exposed to an average of 85 decibels over an 8-hour period. We find that when using our tools or the surrounding noise from other trades puts us over the average more often than not. Earplugs prevent hearing loss, which can develop over a long period of time when constantly exposed to loud noise. When putting them in, make sure your hands and earplugs are clean. If you need a different type of protection, ask your foreman. Gloves must be worn at all times. Fingerless gloves are not acceptable. We went to 100% protection because we found that using gloves has reduced the number of injuries dramatically. Full-body harness and lifelines should be worn when you are exposed to a perimeter of a structure, on a roof, near openings in the floor, or working on a platform that is 6 feet or higher. This equipment should be inspected before use for frays or tears. Respirators. Respirators may be required depending on your trade. Any filtering face piece worn with 2 straps is considered a respirator. Training and a physician's written opinion is required before use of a respirator. Dust masks are not considered respirators, but are suggested for taping and fireproofing activities. Consult with your foreman on appropriate equipment for these operations. Fall protection. When you are working 6 feet above ground, you must be protected by some type of fall protection. Some of the hazards of working above ground are unprotected sides and edges, openings in the floor, leading edges, hoist areas, roofing work. If these hazards are present, your foreman will provide training on the fall protection and rescue plan that will be used on the job site. The following are examples of fall protection. Guardrails, which must have a top rail at 42 inches and can withstand a 200-pound load, with a mid-rail at 21 inches, which can withstand a 150-pound load. Personal fall arrest systems are designed to hold your weight so you do not crash to the ground. It is made up of a 5-point harness, a lanyard or other deceleration device, and connected to an anchor point that can withstand 5,000 pounds per employee. The lanyard should attach on the harness between the shoulders. Do not anchor to guardrails, railings, scaffolds, ductwork, or anything else you are not sure of. The anchor end of a lifeline should be secured at a level no lower than your waist and a horizontal distance not to exceed 6 feet. The anchorage should be able to support at least 5,000 pounds. A warning line can be used around roof edges. The line should be at least 6 feet from the edge of a roof. Some other type of fall protection should be used with the warning line. A controlled access zone can be used in leading edge work, which gives accessibility only to those employees who are performing work. A safety monitoring system is when a competent person is responsible for warning employees when they are working in an unsafe manner or unaware of a fall hazard. They must be on the same level as the employees, within visual sight of them, and have no other responsibilities. All holes 2 inches in diameter or larger must be covered and marked. The cover must be secured and can support 2 times the maximum intended load. To protect you from falling objects, toe boards or canopies can be used. Ladders. Proper ladder selection, inspection, and use can prevent falls and injuries. Use a ladder, not a bucket or box, to reach heights. When selecting a ladder, make sure it is tall enough to reach the height needed and can hold 4 times the weight of you and your equipment. Metal ladders should not be used for electrical work or when it can come in contact with electricity. Inspect every ladder before using it. A ladder should have no missing parts, no splinters, sharp edges, dents, or bent parts, tight support braces, bolts, screws, and spreaders, slip-resistant steps, rungs, or cleats, free from wet, grease, or oil. The base should have safety feet or some form of non-skid anchorage. If any defective parts are found, do not try to fix it yourself. Tag and remove it from service so others do not use it. Place the ladder on a suitable surface and position the feet to prevent displacement of the ladder base. If the ground is soft or broken, place the ladder on wide boards. Extend the ladder at least 3 feet above the top landing surface and anchor the top. Do not rest it on a window or door. Unless protected by a barricade, do not place ladders in passageways or doorways where other work is being conducted. When climbing, face the ladder and hold onto the rungs of the ladder as you climb the ladder. Carry tools on a belt, rope, or hoist. Allow only one person at a time on the ladder. Do not stand on the top 2 steps or move the ladder while you are on it. When carrying ladders, balance the center on your shoulder, keep the front end above your head and the back end near the ground. If it is too heavy, ask another person to help. Store ladders standing up in a dry, ventilated area. Stilts. Stilt use is allowed in all of our offices except for California. They are a tool that can help you be more productive. They take the place of a ladder or a bench. Ceiling men, tapers, metal stud framers can all use this tool. Here are some safety rules for stilts. Review the stilt checklist every day before you use stilts. Check your stilts for damage before you get on them. If you do find damaged parts, change them immediately. Survey the area you are going to work in and look for any type of hazard. Also, check above for any type of safety hazard. Cover any floor openings and especially look out for trip hazards such as loose wires, rope, short pieces of conduit, screws, and electric cords. Always fasten the top strap first when putting on your stilts to help keep your legs in them properly. Never walk up or down stairs. Take your stilts off. Always walk on level surface. Look where you are walking at all times. Do not try to walk in the dirt or walk through water puddles. Ask for help if you drop something on the floor. Never hurry when walking. Take short, distinct steps. Keep your stilts adjusted to the way you walk. Make them as comfortable as possible. Take corrective action and you will have a safe and productive day while wearing your stilts. Scaffolds. The most common causes of injuries on scaffolds are planks or supports giving way, employees slipping or tripping on the scaffold, being struck by falling objects. A scaffold is any temporary elevated platform, supported or suspended, and supporting structure, including points of anchorage, used for supporting employees and materials. A competent person, usually your foreman, is responsible for daily inspections, having knowledge of fall protection, erecting and dismantling of scaffolds, and the recognition of hazards and unsafe conditions of scaffolds. They are also responsible for training all of those who use the scaffold. You need to be aware of some basic information when you are working on a scaffold to assist you in recognizing hazards to prevent injury. A scaffold and its components must be capable of supporting its own weight and at least 4 times the maximum intended load. Scaffolds must be erected on firm ground. Each platform must be fully planked and decked between the front uprights and the guardrails. Guardrails should be installed along all open sides and ends of platforms. The top rail should be 42 inches with the mid-rail at 21 inches. If guardrails are not available or appropriate, personal fall arrest systems must be used. They should be attached by a lanyard to a vertical or horizontal lifeline. Do not attach to the scaffold unless there are manufactured anchorage points designed. When the platform is more than 2 feet above or below a point of access, a ladder, walkway, or direct access from another surface must be provided. Do not climb the cross braces or any scaffold component. Scissor lifts and boom lifts. To operate any aerial type of equipment, you must first have training or documentation to prove your knowledge on the use of that particular piece of equipment. Here are some common responsibilities and safe practices. You should inspect the equipment every day for defects. Before starting the equipment, make sure the dead man switch works. Look for unsafe conditions such as drop-offs, holes, slopes, bumps, debris, overhead obstructions, and wind and weather conditions. Get rid of or adjust to these hazards before use. Prior to each elevation of the platform, guardrails are installed. Gates or openings are closed. The load on the platform is evenly distributed. Harness and short lanyard must be available. They need to be worn if the general contractor requires it, when in a basket extended by a boom or when you are leaning and reaching beyond the safety rail of the lift. The anchorage point must be engineered or approved by a qualified person. Do not climb on guardrails or use any other types of devices to reach heights from platforms such as ladders. Do not continue use if there is a malfunction. Do not travel while the lift is up. Do not position platform against any object to steady the platform. Do not operate equipment near electrical power lines. Do not alter or disable any safety devices. Do not let any other company use the equipment. If the platform gets caught and reverse does not free it, all personnel should be removed from the platform before any further attempts are made. Notify your foreman of any problems with the equipment. Again, if you have not been trained in the use of the equipment, do not operate it. Housekeeping. One of the most unrecognized hazards is material and trash on a job site. The pre-task checkoff specifically asks you to review your area before performing work. If there is a housekeeping issue, notify your supervisor. At all times, your work area should be kept clean, especially passageways, stairs, and aisles. People may not be watching where they are walking or carrying something that prevents them from seeing what is ahead. This may cause them to trip and fall or twist an ankle. Here are some helpful tips to prevent you and others from getting injured. Trash and debris or scrap materials should be kept in one designated space, organized and out of the way of any work being performed, and then removed daily. All trash should be placed in receptacles and removed periodically. Do not overload receptacles. Hammer all loose nails so they are even with material. Try to move electrical cords out of the way to prevent trips and falls. If material, floor, or equipment is wet, dry items off before use to prevent slipping. If you are starting work in an area after another trade has finished, do not let their trash sit there. Speak to them or the general contractor so it is removed and not causing a hazard. Do not throw material off of a roof or elevated floor. When necessary, have a coworker be a spotter to keep people out of the area and put barrier tape around the perimeter. A clean job not only makes a job safe but productive. Our customers will also appreciate it. Electrical safety. Careless use of electricity causes 10% of job-related deaths, as well as many serious injuries. Workers need to protect themselves when working around live wires and parts. If you find a temporary or permanent electrical panel with exposed wires, do not work in the area and notify your foreman immediately. The ultimate electric shock is electrocution, and it doesn't take much electrical power to kill you. It can also cause you to fall and be injured, cause loss of muscle control and coordination, internal bleeding, and damage to nerves. To use electricity safely, you have to be able to identify its most common hazards. Most occur in everyday work. Electrical repair should be left to skilled, trained people. So, if you spot one of these hazards, don't touch anything. Report it immediately so repairs can be made. Here are the hazards to watch out for: loose electrical connections, missing ground prongs, cords with no insulation or frayed insulation, plugs that don't match their outlets, like a 3-pronged plug in a 2-pronged outlet, equipment running over capacity, tools that smoke, smell, spark, or shock, electrical cords left near heat or water, wearing jewelry like watches or rings. Workers and the objects they hold must stay at least 10 feet from an energized power line. Vehicles usually have to stay at least 10 feet from the line also, unless insulating barriers or similar protections will prevent contact. If there is an accident, don't touch a shock victim. Call for professional medical help and, if you can do it safely, turn off the power that's giving the shock. Use something that will not conduct electricity to push the person away from the wire or equipment that caused the shock. Hazardous chemicals on the job site. Many different chemicals are found within the materials we use on a job site. Knowledge of chemical hazards in the workplace is essential to your safety. So, how can you tell if a chemical is hazardous? The Globally Harmonized System, GHS, provides a single, common approach to classify hazardous chemicals through container labels and safety data sheets. Read the label. The manufacturer will label all materials we use that have 6 elements. 1. The identity of the product and its ingredients. 2. Pictograms are a black symbol with a white background surrounded by a red, diamond-shaped border. Each pictogram has a specific meaning to convey physical, health, or environmental hazard information for a chemical's hazard class and category. 3. Signal word used to indicate the relative hazard, either danger or warning. 4. Hazard statement that describes the nature and degree of hazard. 5. A precautionary statement that recommends measures to be taken to prevent adverse effects from exposure, storage, or handling of the product. 6. The name, address, and telephone number of the chemical manufacturer, importer, or supplier. The other way to find out about chemical hazards is by a safety data sheet, or SDS. The sheet has 16 sections that provide hazard assessment. Safety data sheets are kept either in a binder or can be accessed online through the SiteHawk website. This gives you the ability to review them at any time. Once you understand the relative hazards of chemicals you work with, it is very important that you follow directions given and wear protective equipment if required. If you have any questions or concerns regarding the products you are using or exposed to, contact your supervisor. We can also be exposed to chemicals by other contractors on the job site. We are to be notified of these hazards, but we cannot rely on being informed by others. A good rule of thumb to follow is, if your eyes or lungs become irritated, the atmosphere is too strong to work. If this occurs, get out of the area and tell your foreman so appropriate action can be taken. Backs and lifting. Thousands of at-home and at-work injuries are related to improper body movement. Your back takes part in almost every move you make. That makes them more prone to injury. Most back injuries come from a combination of problems, including lifting materials that are too heavy, lifting material from or to an awkward location, working for long periods in a bent-over position, wearing tool belts that are too heavy, no stretching or warming up before doing physical labor, weak back and abdominal muscles, excess weight, poor physical conditioning and flexibility, poor sitting and standing posture. We have a warm-up program where your foreman leads a stretch for the first 5 minutes of the day. We also encourage you to stretch after repetitive work or your break or lunchtime. Before you lift, first determine the weight of the item to see if you can safely lift and carry it. If in doubt, use a dolly, hand truck, forklift, or ask for help. Watch for tripping hazards. When you lift, stand close to the load with your feet shoulder-width apart. Bend your knees and keep your back straight. Grip the load firmly and bring it close to your body. Push up slowly with your legs, not your back. Carry the load waist high and do not twist. When reaching overhead, use a ladder to bring the load closer so you do not have to reach above your shoulders, and follow the other lifting techniques. Healthy habits, including staying in shape and eating healthy, also play a part in your well-being. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle will enable you to lengthen your career and provide for your family. This is the end of your initial training. We expect you to follow the safe practices reviewed, and we encourage you to identify any hazards so that we can provide a safe working environment. This is only an introduction. Every tool and task has more specific training. Knowledge is important for you to have to keep you safe. Working together, employees and management can create a safe working environment. Again, welcome to Anson Industries.